Hey man, so I'm happy to have you here, and I'd just be curious to know, briefly introduction of yourself, your name, and what you're working on.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited for launch day. I'm Jack O'Brien. I'm currently actually a grad student at MIT. But
Oh
before
wow.
that, worked at Google for a number of years, and then had a startup of my own that was acquired, and then left the acquiring company to go back to grad school, actually. And
So you
while I've been
already exit, so you already had success as a founder. You already sold your startup.
Yes, it was definitely an acqui-hire, but it was success. We paid back our investors. We got absorbed into the bigger company. But yeah,
So
have been through.
it's super interesting because launch day is really for indie makers, and
Mhm.
now you are an indie maker, but you used to have investment, and you've been through this path. So that's super interesting.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. And pretty much since then, especially while I've been in grad school, I've been just building a ton of these, smaller bets completely on my own. I think it's so easy to make things with AI right now. I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, how are you building them? What tool are you like number one AI tool you're using?
I mean, I am such a big fan of Cursor these days. I probably
Yeah, yeah,
use
I tried it. Yeah,
GitHub
it's the only one I
Copilot for,
liked. Yeah.
yeah. I used GitHub Copilot for a while, and that was again one of the reasons I wanted to go back to grad school, thinking, "Oh man, this is going to eat my way of life." And then I switched to Cursor probably in, I don't know, August, and it's incredible.
Yeah. And so is that the product you're building now with Cursor?
Yeah, yeah. So the product, which is one of kind of a few side projects I've been working on that we're going to be talking about here. I built the vast majority of it right around when I switched to using Cursor, and I've really it's been fun to build. I've been using Cursor, and I've been using this new backend as a service system that's made it super easy to build quickly, and it's turned into a really fun
Which one?
product.
What are you using? Just if people want to know.
Yeah, it's called Convex. Convex.dev is the website.
Okay.
Um, Really easy to. It handles everything from database, cron jobs. It represents everything as really web sockets, so all data is updated live across every client who's connected.
Oh
Um,
wow.
it's kind of a new paradigm compared to a lot of other ways of
Interesting.
working, but I found it super, super simple, easy, reliable to use.
It reminds me of like the when Firebase first came out, it was all about the real-time database. That was the big
Yeah,
selling point. Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly right.
Wow. I try to stay away from new paradigm though, because it's a time sink, but I totally understand. It seems
I
cool.
know at some point I made the investment into this, and then I have followed through and built a few different
No, for
products with
sure,
it.
for sure.
Yeah.
So I guess can you show us what you build then? What are you building with that? What's the product?
Yeah, of course. So the product is essentially a way for you to create AI images and send a postcard through the mail and get that image in real life. And I think what it really
Okay.
came down, the way it started was,
Can you share your screen just so people can look at it while we talk?
yeah, of course. Um, one second. Um, but the way it started, all right, can you see?
Wait, I was just checking something else. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so I mean, the product is really straightforward, and the whole point is you create AI art and you get it in the mail, and you actually don't see the generated image until it's arrived at your door.
Oh, okay, that's the fun part. Okay, get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you basically write in a prompt. We generate the artwork, but show you a blurry image, and then we actually send you a physical postcard of the mail. So like, if you look here, this is one of the ones I generated.
Let me see if I
um,
can. Okay.
I'm
Maybe
holding it
put
up
it
right now on
even
the actual.
closer because I think it will be when we. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
When
cool. Yeah, yeah, okay, I get it.
And this is, I mean, so we send it to you through the mail. You don't actually know what it's going to be until it arrives at your door. You get kind of a blurry version. Um, it has been just a
And
really fun thing
yeah.
to bring AI
And
artwork into the real world because I think we
yeah,
discount
that's
really the value of like how interesting this artwork is. because it's
So
just a
that's
lot
why
of
you
it.
that's is that why you build it? Because of AI we kind of like lose the appreciation for all these images that are generated.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly it. I think we completely lose sight of like how impressive these systems are and how just visually appealing some of this artwork is. I mean, I've created a whole bunch at this point, so I have them all over my apartment.
Oh wow, yeah.
But you get the postcard, and on the back ends up being whatever your prompt was. Here, I'll close
Okay, okay,
my
yeah.
addresses on there. So
And is there something else? There seem like to be two boxes of text. Is there something else too?
the rest is a there's a coupon code, um, so that you
Okay,
can
I
order
see.
another one if you want.
Yeah, I see.
There's also the
Okay.
ability to send a message if you want to send it to someone who's not yourself. Um, but overall, it's been a super fun product. This is literally the entire product here. You can see I have three messages. I'm going to click on send a postcard.
Hmm.
Do we want to send one right now? Right now, this is going to ship to my apartment right now.
Oh, okay. So when you mean, so you can send it to someone, but it will always be physical. It's not an email.
It's always physical. Yeah, it's always physical art.
It's interesting because in my previous startup, Logology, we were sending a physical postcard to every customer by surprise
Yeah.
because we asked for the billing address, and most of the time it was the same, so we just ran with it and sent something there.
Mhm.
And people loved it. They loved getting it. It was just a thank you, saying thank you for buying a logo from us.
Yeah.
But it was super good because on social media it went kind of it made people share it. Also, like we didn't even ask, but they just shared it on social media because it was so cool. And even with my Twitter course, I did the same. I asked people if they want like a sticker, and I would send them a card. Um, and I wonder if there's a use case for that. Like even like, how do you send these up? Actually, how do you send these physical cards? How is it wired on your side?
Yeah, I'm using a API. It's meant for marketing, the API, but it allows you to upload an arbitrary PDF to put on the postcards. Um,
Oh, is
so
it like
we
Mailchimp? I think Mailchimp had something like that, but I guess
it's
there's
an
a
API
lot.
called lob.com is what I've been using.
Okay.
It's super simple. They have great pricing and actually a really solid API developer experience. Um, Yeah, and the pipeline is essentially generate the image, send a lob. We generate a blurred out image for the user here, so they actually,
Yeah.
they really don't see what it is. But do we want to send one live? I mean, tell me about your favorite place in the world.
Oh my God. That's my hometown right now. It's like I'm so in love with my hometown.
Yeah, well,
So
tell me about your hometown.
should I describe it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Medium-sized city in the north of France, um, with rainy weather, but very warm people and medieval looking streets. It's kind of like my area right now.
Perfect. I mean, first of all, I need to. So we're just going to send that. I think that's perfect.
Yeah, okay. Oh my God.
And we generate a postcard, and you can see right now it's going to generate, and then it's going to send it to our fulfillment API. That's going to work. Um, and really, the process was you write in the prompt, and you get a postcard at your door, and it's something that you've created, but the first time you see it is when you're holding it in your hands, and that's
Yeah,
been
yeah,
really
yeah,
fun.
yeah. No, I get
So,
it. I get it.
yeah, we've
It's
generated like on the order of 200 to 300 of these so far. Um, it's really fun. A lot of people have a good time
and how
doing
do you
it.
find customers? Who are your customers? How do you find them?
I found a bunch of them originally on Twitter, just
Okay.
when I posted this, and then since then it's been a lot of my friends and personal networks. But then they have then shared it with their friends because they say, "Look at this thing. This is fun. You should do it."
I think
Um,
once you receive one, you get it, I guess. Like,
yeah,
once
yeah,
you
that's
get one,
exactly
I
right.
think it must be like a special feeling. And
Of like, oh wow, that actually is what I was picturing, and here it is, and it's beautiful. And there's
yeah, I feel like there's so much to do with like the real things, like like post like the physical world, because there's everything is virtual now. It feels like anything you kind of like break the expectations of people when you do that in a good way. Once you do something physical, it kind of like instantly, like even like, so that's just like, for example, what I'm doing with Launch Day now is I'm doing interviews, and it's not physical, but it's another dimension than just like a product launch. Now we're talking between humans, and that's another dimension. And so this thing, I don't know, I feel like there's really something there. Maybe something even, it could be integrated with SaaS products or something to send postcards to customers. I don't know, but there's something.
There's something there about breaking the virtual wall, right, and making things a bit more real.
Yeah, and there's something beautiful about that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And so far, it's really just been this great fun side project, and I'm trying to figure out ways to really grow this beyond that.
Yeah.
And yeah, there is that moment. I mean, I get so many like text messages and emails of, oh, it actually came and it's fun, and people have used it from friends of friends of friends who I've never met to like my grandma used it and loved it and described like where she was from.
Oh yeah, maybe that's one use case for people who don't really, because I imagine your grandma doesn't use ChatGPT or Midjourney.
No.
So that can be interesting.
She had never seen AI generated images, or at least not recognized when she was looking at one, let alone made one herself. So this was the first time she did that, and couldn't even really comprehend how they were able. I was able to replicate her. Basically, she described a beach where she went as a kid.
Yeah, you asked the same question, like the favorite place. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So I feel like this has so much potential. I feel like it's the beginning, like it's like a seed of something, like what you build.
Yeah.
And it's called Mailkiwi, right? It's Mailkiwi.
Mailkiwi. I named it that. You can see our little logo here. Kiwis are functionally blind. They come out at night.
I had no idea. Okay.
See around. And so you're basically describing this without knowing what you're designing. And then I do want to talk about the origin story too. I have the tweet up.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mentioned this here, but this is Kevin Zhu is basically a Twitter friend, and he printed this idea of, I think it's $15 million idea for one day of work, and then he tagged me here in the comments, and he basically described this idea, and this was at this point almost a year ago, but we went back and forth talking about it, and I really liked the idea, and we'll see if it.
How far along are you on the $1 million thing?
So far I'm in the hundreds of dollars made, but
yeah, okay, cool. That's the start. That we all start somewhere. No, for sure.
A couple 10x's, and we'll get there.
Yeah.
But no, really, shout out to Kevin for really coming up with this idea, and tagging me as a really builder that he knew who could make it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what. Yeah, that's really cool way to. But at the same time, I think, is that a good sign that the person says, I will not build it, but somebody else can? You know what I mean? Like, if it was, I'm just saying. But,
I completely agree. I mean, he runs a company. He's busy right now.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, if it really is going to take me one day, and I'll make $15 million, it's a no-brainer. Now it took me more than a day, and I haven't made $15 million yet, but we'll see.
We're all in the same we're all in the same situation, We've all been like, exactly. We're almost there. No, I'm kidding, but but like it's interesting because I've interviewed a few people already now from the launch day, and it's the first time I have this feeling of like, I mean, other products were maybe more like this things like it's still like at the potential stage, and it can be. I feel like there's a way, there's something there. We can feel there's something there. There's something exciting there to do, and maybe need a bit. You need more feedback or something to figure it out. I don't know. I'm not, but I'm curious.
I think by the time this goes live, I have a lot more features planned. It's going to be fun. There's a couple different modes of sending to other people and adding messages. Right now, there's only one image generation model underlying this, but I have a set of fine tunes that you can pick between for different styles.
And maybe different styles. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. and then I'm also working on the ability to upload a photo, and we use that as the base to put in the different styles. Um, but it
That's
should be
cool.
great,
That's
right?
like that's the project I'm most curious to see how it evolves. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
because I
There's a
feel
ton of white space, and I think it's been fun because this isn't built with we're not solving a customer problem here.
yeah,
We're doing
that's
this
it.
because it's fun and interesting, and people like it, and they're buying it.
Yeah, and you feel like there's something to do with that, but it's hard to. It, maybe it's just because you just need to keep doing it, and eventually, with you see how people use it, and then you'll stumble upon like $1 million use case or something. I don't know. It's
Yeah, yeah.
it's cool, man. So what's the price and what's the discount you're giving for everyone on launch day?
Yeah, yeah. So the discount on launch day that I'm going to do is right now we're charging $3.99 per postcard.
Okay.
That's the standard rate, and that's generally if you go into a postcard store or you're on vacation. That's really
Yeah,
what a
no, that's
postcard
not that
costs.
expensive. That's yeah.
Yeah, not at all. But we want to give away something that's pretty ridiculously cheap on launch day. So what we want to do is a pack of 5 postcards
Yeah.
for I think we're doing 2.99. So
Oh
you can
wow.
actually we're pushing it like we're actually going
Yeah.
to be losing money on some postcards, but the hope is that people love it and they use it. And
Wow, yeah. So two ninety
we,
nine. So
we've
and that gives a chance to really try the product. Like if you want to give one to your grandma, if you want to try this with some people, so you
yeah,
can
that's
get
exactly
five
right.
for like almost nothing.
Mhm.
Wow, this is cool. I will.
And
Yeah, I want to
because
try
I've
this.
seen that moment of once you actually get one in the mail, you go, "This is cool," and a lot of people have bought more than one afterwards.
Yeah, 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 for
Uh,
sure.
so excited to share it with the world in that way.
That's awesome, man. That's so generous. That's so cool. I'm so happy because
Yeah.
I'm trying to get everyone to be as generous as possible. Because the idea is like, if everybody's generous, then everybody's supporting each other's growth. Like
Yeah.
everybody who gives a discount, it motivates people to share, and then other people in the launch day they benefit from that. So that's awesome, and I'm super
Perfect.
grateful
Yeah.
you're playing the game. Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, the hope is that people discover it and they see, the fun and novelty in it, and
yeah,
then it would
for
be well
sure, yeah.
worth giving that discount away if people actually share it with their friends, which is how, a lot of the growth has happened so far.
Yeah. And I just have one last question. It's like, what's the favorite thing that you built? Like when you built this, or like the whole process of creating this, not just the coding, but everything, was the favorite thing that you did? Like not something for customers, but something for yourself that you enjoyed or that you learned or something.
My favorite thing for me that it was probably playing with all the different fine-tune uh, flux models. So this is a
Oh yeah,
fine-tuned flux model.
yeah.
Um, Really, really cool. I'm using someone else's, and when I've talked to him, it's someone in Eastern Europe. Really, really interesting guy.
Yeah.
But through the process, like I've tried to fine tune a whole bunch of different models. I'm going to put them in as different kind of like modes for your images.
Okay.
But playing around with fine tunes and playing around with the flux models has been really fun for me. And then it was a painful to wire up the print and ship API just because
Yeah.
it's not perfect and you have to configure things to fit well
Yeah.
and
Okay. I see. Yeah.
transfer things to PDF form and whatever. But actually then hooking that up and there's just a magic behind, hitting a button and then something like physical ending up happening or landing in your
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And
Definitely this physical thing.
that's
Yeah.
just been really fun for me too. So those would probably
Yeah,
be
so
the
it's
two.
like because like when you're working with API, all you get is a response. But if you're
Yeah,
working with an API and you get a postcard, like somebody rings at your door, that's way more fun. Yeah. Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
And
I see.
the last thing I'll say, just while we're talking about it, is using this was the first time I used that convex.dev product.
Yeah.
And kind of inspired me to build a different product too. That is another.
Hmm.
It's a different app here that
Yeah. Oh
I'm
yeah. Show
calling
me.
the Turing Fest, which is like a quiplash, but you play against other language models. And
What's a
anyways, it was
quiplash? I'm not sure I got it.
Quiplash is a game sort of like I don't know, apples to apples or Cards Against Humanity, or there's a couple of these.
Okay.
It's
So
kind of a
like
fun party game, but you
okay.
play through the computer with other people. The moral of the story is by learning to play with convex.dev, which is that backend as a
Yeah.
service I use for Mailkiwi, it led to me building this, which has been another fun, indie product that maybe we can talk about at a different time.
Yeah. You'll have to pay for another launch day for that, man. No,
I will.
but
This is just a
yeah.
preview. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just teasing you. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I was glad to meet you, and I thought that was super interesting. So, and even like, yeah, so I would invite everyone to try and get some postcard just to experiment. And I think it can even give makers some ideas on like, okay, what can we build around physical products? Like, there's so much potential. So, yeah,
Yeah,
thanks so
definitely.
much, man, for sharing that and for this amazing discount. And I hope you get lots of sales from this launch day.
Yeah, me too. I really appreciate it.